My name is Aisha Naimi. I'm the director of the Solar Innovation Center. The Innovation Center is a clean technology innovation hub that promotes sustainable energy future in Dubai and beyond. And it's located at the heart of Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park, which is considered among the largest single-site solar park worldwide based on the IPP model. The Innovation Center is focusing on 3 key pillars: innovation, education, and inspiration. The education by empowering youth and building their capabilities in the field of clean and renewable energy. We are hosting professional training, providing workshops and trainings to empower the next generation of innovators in the field of renewable and clean energy. The inspiration by inspiring people and raising their awareness about sustainability and the green initiatives of DEWA that support Dubai transition toward the clean energy. So it's open to public to come and visit the Innovation Center and see the actual initiatives and the projects in real life. And we are focusing as well on the innovation by showcasing the latest technologies that are being adapted to the project of the solar park and DEWA in general, the renewable and green initiatives of DEWA.
Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business.
Good evening, Uganda. Welcome to Smart 24 TV. I'm your host, Oyesije Clinton Liberty, and tonight we still have discussions on renewable energy. And of course, we have a special discussion tonight with one of our prominent figures from Craig, but we still know that we have a gap when it comes to capacity building, especially in renewable energy. And we know that capacity building in renewable energy is a multidimensional and essential aspect of addressing the global challenges posed by climate change, ensuring energy security, and fostering sustainable development. Now, we have quite a number of areas that we can address with capacity building, but we want to understand what role does capacity building play when it comes to all the thematic areas of climate change, but at the same time also looking at how it plays a vital role when it comes to the renewable energy sector. And tonight I'll be hosting Moses Kakoza, who is from CREC, the Center of Research of Energy and Environmental Conservation. Yes?
Energy and energy conservation.
Energy and energy conservation. That is beautiful. And to date, we have Moses Kakoza, who will be discussing with us what role does CREC play when it comes to capacity building and other areas concerning capacity building. You're most welcome, Moses.
Thanks a lot.
I'm very delighted to have you with me today. And for the purpose of maybe my audience, you can introduce yourself and tell them what you do together with what we'll be sharing tonight.
Sure, yeah. So thanks everyone who is listening today or watching today. My name is Moses Kakoza. I'm working with CREC, basically supporting CREC to set up a CREC Academy.
Okay.
To focus on this capacity building part, but I'm also supporting them with other consulting projects. I also do other consulting projects outside of CREC, focusing on mostly off-grid solar, like mini grids or solar systems in rural areas. Yeah.
All right, and I like the fact that you have mentioned that you're working with them to focus on an academy that also focuses on capacity building. And you very well know that capacity building is our guest of the matter tonight, and we want to understand what training programs, what plans especially do you have for Ugandans starting with next year?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say a bit why we are doing this, right? So the country has 19% of the population has access to grid electricity, power that we have from Umeme and others. And then there's another 38% or so who have access to power from solar systems. Okay. There's 43% of people still don't have electricity at all. And in the end, you need people to provide this electricity.
Exactly.
We are people here who are doing this show. There's people who are making this technology work. So you need people to provide electricity to the people who don't have it. And that's where we come from, because as a country, we need to build our capacities. We need to build our local capacities. Ugandans must be able to install a solar system, to maintain it, to fix it. A boy in a rural area should be able to fix a bulb when it's broken in their house at home. Or there should be a nearby technician to help a health facility, a health center, in case the solar system is broken, to go and fix it so that people can have light when they're giving birth and so on.
That's true.
So, and how will people know or learn these things? Unless they are taught, right? And therefore, that's why we are setting up this Creek Academy. Creek has been doing trainings. It's not new. Creek has been doing trainings for the last 20 years. Creek has trained over 1,500 technicians. But, because Creek is also doing consultancy and they do testing services in cook stoves and solar, and I mean, it's quite a big institution what they're doing there. You can easily not exploit the potential of something when it's part of a big picture. And that's why we have set aside this Creek Academy. It's going to be a separate institution, separate company to provide trainings. We are looking for a piece of land, and we are talking with different partners to give us a piece of land where we shall set up a home, where we have state-of-the-art training facilities. We'll have dormitories where people can even come from rural areas and sleep there. We want to offer not just trainings, basic trainings, but we will also offer certified trainings, because while there are needs in rural areas to fix these solar systems, there is also people who have jobs right now or who have work right now. They work in industries, they work in companies in renewable energy, but they need to upskill. They need to get better. Otherwise, otherwise all the high-level work goes outside, right? And that's what we need to develop. So we are also going into what we call certified courses, where we take an engineer like me who has been working, let's say, for 10 years in the industry, and then give them a certified course where they become even more marketable. They can charge better. They can work on more complex projects. They can work across Africa and so on. Yeah. So this is what we are working on. We are really passionate about it. We believe that people need to really be educated and they need to be skilled to be able to do this.
I agree with you. Moses. Actually, your overview has been very insightful. I agree with you, Moses, when you say that we need to work so hard to ensure that we bridge the gap of knowledge and information, and that to me is very important. But let's talk about passion. You see, it's one thing for us to train people for 1 or 2 weeks, and then we let them off and assume that they have understood everything that we have taught them, and now we maybe qualify them to be professionals or experts. But let's talk about the passion. I don't know, when you were in high school, or what passion did you come out of high school with to do something? I think you came out with something, and you're like, I want to do this because I have the passion for it. So to me, I believe that capacity building should start from the household level, or even in schools where these young minds are. And then we start having renewable energy conversations in schools, in high schools, so that the conversation and the mindset change can start from inside the school. And then when we start these capacity building programs or training programs that Creek holds or any other organization, then they are going there to just advance their knowledge. You see that?
Yeah.
So I want to understand, how can we ensure that something like that is transferred? Is it something that deals with the educational sector? Is it something that we can incorporate in the curriculum? What can we do to increase passion for young people to be a part of conversations like this?
Yeah. So, I mean, what we've done actually is we've done a life cycle mapping.
Okay.
Together we have a business analyst who
A
work
life
with,
cycle map.
Yeah, where we look at from when you're born, from when you're 0 years to when you die, let's say 100 years, and we see what role can you play in terms of capacity building for renewable energy. Either so when you're young, you could play with certain things. You could play with, I don't know, a block of a panel. I mean, it's not a panel, but something which is made like that or so. When you reach maybe P5, P6 or so, we could build small hydropower things. I mean, you could do that at home. You can run a pipe of water. It hits on a rolling thing. You put a dynamo, and then you put a bulb. And then that child is already like, so I can get power from water. They know that. They don't need to learn that at school because they have done that. It's the same thing with solar. You can get a solar panel, you put on your connector bulb and so on. So a bit of playing around in primary school. In high school, it's possible to already move the kids into some very, very basic renewable energy because they are learning physics, they are learning science, so they can understand concepts about current and photovoltaics and so on.
That's true.
And then by the time you reach university, you already can install a solar system, you already know how a solar system works, you can already know a biogas or cook stove and so on. And then, of course, as you grow along, you move from learning to teaching or to becoming an expert. So some of the people who, for example, I don't know, have worked, I mean, we have a lot of experience in this space. We have people who have worked in this sector for 40 years. They have done this, they know it, but they are not passing on the knowledge. And that's the platform we are going to offer as a Creek Academy. We're calling those people. They can be as mentors, they can guide, they can show people. I mean, another key area we look at is females, for example. They are not well represented in the energy space. And that's also something we are really, especially having those mentors, those senior ladies to really come and
for gender balance purposes.
And encourage this. But I can maybe tell you my story, and I think that helps a bit with the passion. I didn't plan to be an energy engineer.
All the way from high school?
No, I didn't. I started primary, secondary, I did chemistry, physics, math, and then I went to university. I did mechanical engineering. And mechanical engineering, what I was told is I'm supposed to be working in a factory, manufacturing. But I think around my third year, there was a course, a very short course, 1 week, offered by, I think it was Horizont and some Austrians, where we learned how to actually do a solar system. 1 week like this. 1 week like this changed my entire trajectory. I'm now just focusing on this. You could have said I wasted my time. Of course I didn't. But the passion is usually there, and sometimes these short courses, they might look short, but they actually are really very important triggers if somebody is to move in this direction. Creek, for example, hosted children or high school students at the conference, Not all of them, of course, will go into this sector, but there may be one or two there who are like, this is it. And I'm just going to do this the rest of my life. So, of course, I've done a lot more courses to get into this. Now I did my master's in renewable energy and so on. But for me, the turning point was that 1 week course.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I can say it took you 1 week to change your mind. So I think there are also other people inside, universities and the rest of these areas who we could use 2 weeks, 1 week to change their minds, and we could have experts like yourself come out and see, what, so let me do energy. This should be my area. Passion doesn't come from, I don't know. It's not. It cannot be inborn. Sometimes it cannot be natural. Sometimes it can be just. So let's talk about research and development, Moses. We know that capacity building includes investment in research and development. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And we know that, of course, when this is done, it will encourage innovation in renewable energy technologies.
Definitely.
Now, my question to you would be, Moses, how do we increase continuous improvement when it comes to making these technologies more efficient and cost effective over time? Because we know that research and development will come with those lines, but we want to understand how do we have a continuous improvement in research and development, and at the same time, how do we make different technologies in renewable energy more efficient and cost effective? Because I'll give an example. How much is an EPC right now?
Okay, top notch is like 500,000. Basic one might be around 200,000.
So you can see there is a gap when it comes to affordability.
Yeah.
You see that? So we want to understand how do we have these technologies more efficient and cost effective, but at the same time also how do we continue to improve on research and development?
Yeah, I mean, you see, it's like a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
When you do something, it leads to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So countries which have developed to achieve this, they didn't start, they didn't start like this and then they were flying. I mean, you read about history of photovoltaic. I mean, hundreds of years ago, yeah? So, and for us here, we are just starting it. So I think for me, research and development is very, very much combined with capacity building. People need to learn what's possible to then actually start developing something.
Yeah.
And so at the academy, definitely we will have a place for research and development, because what we want to do is to also set up demo sites, so that when people come to learn, they don't just learn on the face, like theory stuff. They really work with things and develop things. And the kind of people we want to work with the academy are not mainstream teachers or mainstream academia.
Yeah.
We are really connected with the industry. So we look at the industry. This is what has been happening before. Solar trainings have been happening.
Yeah.
Cook stove trainings have been happening, but they've been happening because maybe a certain project is around from government or from a development partner and so on a technology, let's say cook stove, and then we put trainings. Then when that project from the government stops, the capacity building also stops. What we want to do is we want to look at the markets and we talk to the companies. We say, okay, you are developing cook stoves and so on. Can we train your people? Can we work with your people? If you work with those people and they really understand that, okay, this is how a stove is built. This is how it's made more efficient. Oh, I can use a cheaper material and still have the same efficiency, right? That's when it will come. So I think it's not like I don't have like a blueprint, to be honest. But I think we just need to move. So this is why for us it's very important to have space, to have a piece of land, to have really big space. And we've been talking to different partners, and we are really looking. But this big space where you have a place where people can do anything. They can come up with pilot, they can try different things, anyone and so on.
Absolutely.
And then we connect them with the industry. I mean, the other thing probably about research and development, there's a lot of research going on. A lot. I mean, we are a research center, so we know. We are also seated at Macquarie University, so we see all these papers which are being written by students, and I mean, every student who graduates writes
a research paper.
There's a project which is submitted. Every master's student does the same. Every PhD student does the same.
So there's a lot.
So there is a lot. There's a lot of information.
But how is it being supported?
Now,
is there supposed to be like a research and development fund? So support.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a government partner here. I think I would have preferred that he's the one talking about what should be there. But what we need to do is to connect research and industry, and that's what we are doing. I mean, at least that's what we are able to do. That's what we can do.
Research and industry.
Research and industry, yes.
Please explain that.
I mean, I can tell you, if you talk about sending, other countries are sending people to the moon, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So there is a research part, which is connected with the actual industry. It's not just pure research. When somebody starts to develop an internet software technology, they usually start it from a project, but usually they will leave the university, start a company, and then sell this as a business. You will see that a lot everywhere. And in Uganda, we're still lacking that. It's called commercialization, commercialization of research, where if I am a student and I come up, and a lot of students, we have a lot of intelligent students at the university, a lot. Actually, Ugandans are very smart, I can tell you. But what we need to do is, okay, how can I use this thing that I've developed to turn it into a business? And to
that is good. That is good.
Yeah,
because I was about to ask you about the business opportunities that come with capacity building. But that's something we'll discuss later.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's it. You see, if I learn now, okay, let's say I did a training on renewable energy. I learned that. I now became a consultant. And I can install renewable energy.
You're now an expert.
You see, I make money from what I learned. Okay? And I can, I mean, of course, I don't even maximize that. Some people go and set up a big company, a big consulting company, and so, and even really, really maximize.
Okay.
On the other hand, I could have learned something, learned it, and then just, you know, kept it, and just continue to look for a job. And just put that on the side. And just look for a job. And these are completely two different things. When, for example, Kira, our colleagues from Kira EV, I mean, this electric vehicle project. And now, at least we see some buses on the road. I mean, I don't know how successful they are and so on, but at least you see something from research into industry. And that's how those efficiencies will come. It does, if we just keep buying everything from China or from Europe and whatever and just install.
We are killing our own resources here.
I mean,
How do we increase support for these research out proposals and all of these research? Because you have mentioned how many people graduate in renewable energy from PhD, masters, and research. There's so many. And it means there's a lot of research that is just piled up there in Makerere. So how do we have government and private sector come together to support this, either financially, but also in terms of, trying to get support for, all these proposals that are down the table? We need them to come out of being theoretical or those papers that are filed there into implementation. I know we still have, as a country, we still have a challenge of finance. That is why now even at COP, people are discussing loss and damage funds and all that. But the issue is, how do we get research? We should actually be advocating for a research and development fund, special fund on research and development.
I mean, as I said, I think it's good to advocate for this research and development fund.
Absolutely.
But for me, in my experience, I've also been very, I've not worked with the government, but in my previous role, I was very close to the government. And government has things they can do really quickly and things which just take time. So asking, we can develop this fund, and we should, government should set up this fund, and they should do their role as the government. This is something we should discuss about with the government. I am in the private sector, so for me, and I am an individual, and therefore I always look at, okay, what can I do where I have full control over?
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things we can talk about we don't have control over. You can talk about government to do something, but you don't have control over that.
So you decide to focus on what you can control.
And there's a lot we can control. There's a lot we can control. I think a lot of people, they say, I'll let the government do for us this, or let the government do for us that. But the government has given us a platform where we can basically do anything and be successful. You see, at least there's no war that is happening that can affect us. So let's really let everyone, let every student, let every engineer, let every person who is employed really think about how can I commercialize whatever I have? How can I make whatever I'm doing be more impactful? And if you start just asking yourself those questions, you yourself, and you find, okay, what can I do as me? Trust me, you might not, of course, change the country or come up with this thing, but you will take some small steps. And those small steps, they go a long way.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you and me, there's a book I've been reading, it's called Atomic Habits. It talks about the fact that if you just change just 1% of your habit every day, at the end of, I don't know, a year, you will have changed 100% of who you are. And so that's what I believe, this kind of thinking that, okay, I have my job, I am responsible for installing a solar system here. How can I make sure that I do it well? How can I learn that I need to learn to do it well? If you do that well, before you know it, you'll do a bigger one. Before you know it, you'll do a bigger one. Before you know it, you'll have a bigger project, you know? And then all of a sudden, you as one person will have contributed to electrifying a certain group of people in your lifetime. If you do that, I do that, he does that, we will all together contribute to this. So, I don't know, sorry, it's not like very clear, but yeah.
No, it was very clear to me.
I'm just really
Because
thinking, yeah.
No, it is very clear to me because it has helped me understand that we need to enhance our own capabilities. You know, we need to enhance our own. Now, let me just interest you with something, Moses. I happened to attend the Renewable Energy Conference that happened in United Munyonyo, and it was a very good conference. But if I will interest you with this information, we had so many rooms at the energy conference, and in these rooms, there were so many people, so many experts in this room, and experts from the development partners, experts from the private sector, experts from the government. They were all discussing about clean energy. Yeah,
I hear you.
But this was the challenge to me. They were speaking to themselves. You see that? They're speaking to themselves. So the question would be to you, Moses, how do we raise awareness of such conversation? Because we cannot have them speak to themselves now, because like any other business, when you're starting a business, you must first identify the customer, and we need to have customers in those rooms. So the question would be, how do we raise awareness of these renewable energy technologies, of these research proposals that are coming out and being implemented in even areas that we don't know? How do we bridge that gap of, you know, promotion? Because these conversations are very important. And we need people even who, because they're end users, we need to always focus our conversations, bringing them to the end users, because at the end of the day, there are people to use this electricity, there are people to use these solar panels, there are people to be beneficiaries of mini grids and off grids. But the conversation is sticking internally. And that is not right. So you'll address that. Two, what are those business opportunities that come with capacity building? Because what we know is that capacity building is going to foster job creation. Is that right? It's going to foster job creation, it's going to foster entrepreneurship. But how do we have capacity building support the transition to a green economy? Because we want, as that we are doing capacity building, we are aligning with the principles of sustainable development. So the question is, how, as we do capacity building, we are fostering entrepreneurship, we are fostering job creation. But how do we make people identify business opportunities or economic opportunities? Over to you.
So maybe I'll actually start from the second one of business part. And what we do with our trainings actually is we don't just focus on technical. We always add a business part. We always add financial literacy, entrepreneurship, skills, and so on.
That's right.
And we have a good network of business people who we work with, even in structuring this academy, but also in delivering the courses. We are also in touch with investors, for example. And we can link companies to investors through different platforms. Unfortunately, most of the investments we know of are international investments. We still don't see a lot of local rich people, you know. I do believe there's a couple of rich Ugandans who actually have money and be willing to use it for a good cause. Philanthropies, I do believe they're there. So that's something I think we need to work on to see how we can unlock local investments into that, because the debts can be quite tough, the local debts. But at least naturally there are some like investors who are willing to invest and so on. And there's also you've talked about green economy. It's a good opportunity for us. I mean, it's clear that majority of the carbon emissions are emitted by developed countries. So, and there is money which is available for us to tap into who are in the developing world. So there is carbon funds, there is climate funds. For example, if you install a solar system large enough, say 20 kilowatt, somebody can pay you every quarter carbon credits, you know, and you earn that money, either as a facility or a company or so, So there are those opportunities we know about, and we are regularly checking and refreshing ourselves with this kind of connections to these international investors and platforms to know what opportunities are there. But the other part about the awareness, I mean, the discussions in the room need to happen. For me, coming from, I mean, I've been in the sector for 10, 11 years now.
Absolutely.
Being at a conference where I see the government, the private sector, a development partner together talking about a topic, honestly, this is really commendable. Yeah. Sure. So, and I think this discussion needs to happen because the private sector is very close to the end user. The companies, they have branches in those areas. They have salespeople who work there. They face the challenges. They know the situations. And they can bring this input into these discussions. And then the government is also able then to also share their perspective and so on. Then development partners also can see where to fit in and finances and so on. So I think it's a very, very good place for these discussions to happen. And I'm really looking forward to next year, 2024, to the REC, especially for some of the discussions that even need to happen more stronger. But I must say it was a very, very successful thing. But of course, on the second part, we need to reach to the people. And what we are trying to do also with the academy is to develop basic information, because an end user does not need to know, you don't need to know what is behind your watch for you to use it.
Or for you to like it.
You just need to know, this is how I switch it on, this is how I switch it off, this is how I take care of it, that it can last long, right? And this is how I correct the time. Finished. I mean, I could tell you some advantages of this watch compared to another watch and so on, because I'm a marketing guy and so on. But in the end, what you need to know is, how do I use it and maximize the outputs or the design that I have in it. And those are some awareness which CRIC has already done, but it's something which we are also trying to see how we package in the academy to have this really basic end user awareness to the communities. But I'm also very convinced about private sector. If I'm a company and I am selling you, again, let's take an example of your watch. Trust me, I will educate you about your watch. And I will do it at a much better cost because you are my client.
Absolutely.
So, and I think the private sector for us, again, this is the vicious effect which I'm telling you about. If the private companies, if the employees in the private companies are really properly skilled and properly educated, and again, properly educated also on business things and sales and marketing and technology and so on, I do believe it sustainably goes down to the end user in terms of awareness.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. As we come to the close, let's talk about the financial mechanisms. Now, one of the things capacity building does also, Moses, you would agree with me when I say capacity building also looks at developing financial mechanisms that facilitate investment. In especially, I would say this, in especially renewable energy projects. And again, for private sector, they need, because there is one thing for us to receive money, especially from the global north. We receive money, but now it's one thing to receive money, but it's another thing to manage.
I hear you.
To manage that money. So I think, to me, we know that access to finance is still a challenge, but we also have training programs that help us to facilitate investment. So the question to you would be, how is it worth enough for us to involve financial institutions in our capacity building sessions? And if it is, how do we understand the unique aspects of renewable energy financing? Because we need to understand, if we are to receive this money, what are going to, because what I know with renewable energy projects for now is that they are based on a result-based financing. And to me, that's very important. But how do we have financial institutions play a vital role? They should be playing a central role, especially when it comes to capacity building sessions and programs. But how do we have them involved in these capacity building programs? And also, what unique aspects do these financial institutions bring to the table when it comes to renewable energy financing?
Yeah, so definitely the role, I mean, money, in the end,
issues concerning money.
In the end, you do the math, you end up with the money, right? If somebody talks about, that's why whatever you do, it should make business sense. And when we talk business, of course, we're talking money. So, and what we are, I mean, this is something we are more or less developing also ourselves. I mean, what we've done now is to include this financial part into the courses for now, but definitely we can do more. There's a course we were planning. I mean, it's not yet published, but it's being prepared, where we want to work with certain investor companies, renewable energy companies, to train them only on finance and investment.
Only on finance.
Only on finance. Because, of course, they know the technology. So this course is only going to be finance focused. And again, not finance of how do I balance my books and so on. No. How do I get money into my business? And one of the platforms we want to link up with, for example, is Get Invest. They do a lot of networking with businesses and investors and so on. So that is one. The other one which we're looking into is climate finance. Again, we've not yet, I think maybe this will rather do towards end of next year, where we want to work with an organization, I think it's based in Kenya, and they are really good with climate financing, because as you said, renewable energy has an opportunity to unlock climate finance, and the money is there. The money is there. If you look at, I don't know, there's lots of money which has been committed for climate, and renewable energy properly fit. Now, how do we learn that? How do we learn to write good proposals to get into those funds? And then finally, I mean, commercial institutions, I do believe, have a role to play, and I mean, this is a space which it's been talked about for a very, very long time, but still a few are really coming in, and the few who are coming in, usually you hear maybe there's a development partner helping them and so on. The cost of debt is just tough. I mean, even when somebody is not doing a renewable energy business, even when somebody is doing, I don't know, you want to start up a small movie showroom and so on, and you go to the bank to get a loan, the interest rates are really high. So I think it's been only possible through some grants. So usually there have been some grants or guarantees, either from the government or from development partners, which lower this interest for renewable energy products. And I know for sure Centenary Bank has products to finance renewable energy. I think Stanbic had, I don't know if they still have, Equity Bank for sure has, and a couple of others which I've not remembered. So there are a few, because there is an organization called Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company, UECCC, which is working with the banks to finance renewable energy. So, and I think they have a list of banks, even Pride, like some microfinances are also tapping into these grants. Of course, question is what happens when these grants will not be there in future, and that's something
that's the question we are now talking about. COP. We're asking ourselves what happened to the 100 billion commitment. If you know the 100 billion commitment that was made over the last COPs that happened, but I think that's the question they're addressing while at COP. But we're not discussing COP today. Most importantly, we know that we need to foster community awareness and participation in renewable energy projects, and that is why we are discussing capacity building. But to me, I was in one of the rooms, this will be your last question, Moses. I was in one of the rooms at the Renewable Energy Conference, and one gentleman from GIZ said, if we are to make progress in these conversations, we need to start from the household level. Any progress. We start from the household level. So how do we take capacity building to local communities? How do we take capacity building to household levels, especially for the renewable energy conversations, the renewable energy sources, and the renewable energy projects. Because I know that if we are to do this, then we're able to inform these people the benefits of renewable energy.
Yeah.
They need to know.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do we make progress, Moses?
Yeah.
That would be the last question to you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I'll tell you a very short story, and I've told this story a couple of times. We built I didn't build it. I mean, the company called Winch built it. A mini grid when I was still with GIZ in Lamont, in a district in Lamont. There's a village there. It's called Lapidiani, village. It's in Paloga sub-county in Lamont. And these people didn't have power, you know. And when the power came, when we brought the power to them with a mini grid, I talked to some guy who told me he was a teacher, and I think we brought the mini grid just after COVID. Yeah, just after COVID. And he had lost his job. And he knew how to weld because he was teaching at a vocational school. He was teaching people welding, students welding. So he's back home, he's stuck, and there's power. And the good thing with mini grid power, it's powerful enough. It's just like grid power. So he buys a welding machine, and he starts welding at his home. And he's making money from his welding. I asked him, so now, what happens now that schools have opened? Why don't you go back? He said, no. I'm going to grow this welding. I mean, he had business in a village in Lapidiani, in Paloga sub-county, in Namo district. The other day I heard that somebody has set up a small lodge there. And people actually go and stay there. Somebody actually was doing a research, and they went and stayed in that small guest house for like 3 weeks. That's money.
Absolutely.
The lady also told me she had like 200 questionnaires to photocopy. And she photocopied them from that village where the power went. Now, why am I telling these stories? Is that for me, and this is the thing, whatever we do costs money. It costs money to offer a training. Taking people to offer a training to a household costs money. Somebody needs to pay this money. Now, you can pay me, I don't mind. GIZ can pay me, or government can pay me. I don't mind, I'm happy to make that money.
That is true.
But is that sustainable?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Can we do it for 40-something million Ugandans?
No.
No one is going to finance that. What?
Even the willingness.
Yeah. What we need to do is, again, work with companies. Companies are providing these solutions. A technician comes to your house to install to you the umeme line. That technician can tell you already how to use it. When your board is broken, you call an electrician to come and fix it.
Exactly.
So for us, and that is what I personally believe, that we need as a capacity building enterprise, we need to focus on technicians, companies, businesses to develop them.
Absolutely.
And these people then take the awareness to the household.
Yeah.
And trust me, if these guys really know their stuff so well, I mean, the technologies will work, people will be happy. There are many people who are disappointed with solar because it breaks down. And you know why it breaks down? It has nothing to do with solar. 100% to do with the installer. It was not installed well, it was not sized well, it was not done well, they didn't tell the person how to use it properly, all these things. So, and again, the installer can pay us money to teach them because there is a clear business. If I pay Creek and they teach me how to install a solar system, I pay them 1 million, 2 million, I do a course for 2 weeks, I get my proper certificate, I present this to the company, a company hires me, a company starts paying me 2 million every month for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. So I will make money, yeah? And because I'm so good, I keep developing myself. And that is really how we do it. It has to be a business, and somebody needs to pay for it. Yeah, so that's
really
that's it. So
No, actually, I think you're going to agree with me, Moses, when I say that we need to continue this conversation some other day.
Yeah, no,
but I also know that
thanks a lot
this is a
for watching us.
platform
Yeah.
where we need to continue such conversations because it is through such platforms that we can continue to increase public awareness about renewable energy.
Yeah.
We need communities informed.
Sure.
We need households informed. We're even, as Smart 24 TV, we're even driving such conversations through our radio media outlets.
Yeah.
So that those households that can at least afford a radio can also listen in to what does it mean to benefit from renewable energy. So,
and by the way, companies pay radios.
Yes.
You've heard?
Yes.
A company, we used to work with companies, they would pay money to a radio station to advertise. Again, it's perfect.
Yeah.
The companies can do it, no problem. But for us as a training institute, we don't have to. Because our business is not the household. Our business is who is paying for our training.
That's very true. That's very true.
Sorry, I interrupted your conclusion.
That's very true. So for those that are watching us tonight, thank you so much for being a part of this very conversation. We know that capacity building plays a vital role when it comes to renewable energy practices in Uganda, but also when it comes to sustainable development in Uganda. So capacity building fosters also international collaboration by promoting knowledge sharing and best practices among so many countries. But this collaboration will be very crucial for addressing global challenges collectively. We also know that capacity building plays a vital role when it comes to including educational initiatives to increase public awareness about renewable energy, but also have communities right away from the household level are likely to support and participate in the transition to sustainable energy practices. My guest tonight was Moses Kakoza, all the way from the Creek Academy, the director of Creek Academy actually, and he had very interesting ideas when it comes to capacity building. I can't wait to host you again, but before I give you my vote of thanks, maybe you would like to say something to the audience as you wind up.
Thanks a lot for hosting us, Smart 24 TV. No, and I'd like to thank those who have listened in. If you feel you have a role to play, feel free to visit us at the Creek Academy, based at Macquarie University. We are happy to engage in these discussions. And our courses will be coming out more, especially next year. This year we've been mostly setting up. But again, we are really focusing on companies, on renewable energy companies, industries, and so on, to make sure that we can skill your people so that your people can help you do better business, take care of your customers, and make money.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Moses. And if you want to develop your skills in renewable energy, Creek Academy is right there for you at Macquarie, and Creek itself to help you enhance your skills in renewable energy. Now, for those that have been watching us, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation tonight, and we wish you a very good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Smart 24, driving business.